All right, so get ready to dive into something really wild.
Yeah.
We're talking AI, but not just any AI.
No, not just any AI.
This is next level stuff. You know how you're always looking for better ways to process information, make sense of research?
Definitely.
Well, the articles you sent, total goldmine, by the way.
Ah, glad you found them interesting.
They totally were. They got me thinking, what if AI could help us digest information in a totally different way? And get this, we're talking AI that can practically make podcasts out of thin air. Okay, maybe not thin air, but close enough.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about spitting out content, which is what I thought at first. This is different.
Right.
It's more about working with us, being a research partner, almost.
Okay, so we need to break this down. We're talking about this thing called Notebook LM. It's a Google Labs project, which automatically makes me think cutting edge.
Right.
And it's supposed to be like having, I don't know, your own personal AI research assistant. You feed it your stuff, articles, studies, links, whatever.
And it takes all that data and creates different outputs, summaries, answers to your questions, things like that.
Okay, but here's where it gets really cool. This is the part that blew my mind. Notebook LM can create these audio overviews. That's what they're calling them. And they're structured kind of like, podcasts, basically.
Like full-on conversations, not just some robotic voice reading a summary.
And get this, one writer, Amanda Caswell from Tom's Guide, she was saying that the AI voices in these audio overviews are so realistic, like with pauses and everything, she actually started to question reality.
I can see why. It's like, if you think about it, when we listen to a good podcast, we get pulled in, right? The natural back and forth, the way the host might pause, maybe even laugh, it makes you pay attention. And there's actually research showing this kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
that incorporating those natural elements, especially for people who learn better by listening, can really boost how well they understand and remember information.
So wait, it's like we're tricking our brains into thinking we're just chilling out, listening to a conversation, but we're actually absorbing complex stuff?
Exactly.
That's kind of genius. But how does it even work? Is it like pulling from everything on the internet? Because that's a bit scary, right?
No, and that's a super important point. It's not like ChatGPT where it has access to this massive amount of data. Notebook LM is way more focused. It works solely on what you give it. So say you give it 10 research articles on renewable energy, right? It can only work with the information from those articles. It can't just browse the web for more.
So I could theoretically give it a giant stack of research papers for my next big project, and it could give me back a podcast-style summary in minutes? No more spending hours reading through jargon? That would be incredible.
I know. It could seriously change the game, especially for people who are more auditory learners. And this is huge. It's limited by the information it gets, right?
Right, so bad info in, bad info out.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But that actually makes me think about something else you mentioned earlier, data privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like everywhere you turn, it's all AI this and data collection.
Yeah.
And honestly, kind of creepy, right?
For sure. But the way Notebook LM works is actually really interesting from a privacy perspective. What you upload basically stays yours.
Really?
It's not being used to train Google's other AI models or anything like that without your... Okay, so you have control, which is huge these days.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Oh.
But, okay, all this is amazing, but I have to be honest, the idea of an AI sounding too human, especially if we're talking serious topics, it's a little unnerving.
Oh, yeah, you're hitting on that uncanny valley thing.
Yeah.
Some users have said that, yeah, while the conversational tone can be great, it can also be a little, I don't know, off-putting, especially with sensitive topics. You don't want it to sound too casual.
Right, no jokes from my AI if we're talking about something serious.
Yeah.
So, okay, last question. What kind of topics do you think this would be really cool to use for? What comes to mind for you?
Oh, man, the possibilities, right? I mean, imagine using it for history, or summarizing big scientific discoveries, or even philosophical debates.
Right.
Yeah.
And think about how quickly things are changing. I mean, we're basically on the edge of AI really shaking up how we learn and work.
Exactly.
And tools like this Notebook LM, are kind of leading the charge.
They are, but as with any powerful tool, it really comes down to us, the users. We need to remember that as advanced as it seems, it's still a reflection of the information we give it.
It's easy to forget that.
It is. And it made me think, one of the articles you sent, it mentioned that if the output of the AI is a reflection of the sources, then it's our responsibility to make sure we're giving it diverse and unbiased information,
That is a good point. It's like a good reminder that even with all this amazing AI, we can't just check out. Our own critical thinking, it's more important than ever. Well, this has been a wild ride. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me.
Absolutely. It was fun.